Hi, and welcome to the first part of this tutorial series on how to animate weapons in first person with Blender. And I'm going to assume that you already know how to use Blender to a certain extent, so, the usual hotkeys are G, which moves, R rotates, press R twice and turns into a trackball, S is to scale, A is to select and deselect every object on screen, and that's really all you need to know for animating. Alright, so, well, let's just get into it. First you want to go to File, Import, or Append, if you already have a blend file with a weapon in it. I'm just going to use a weapon I've made in Blender. So I'll navigate to that. And there's my weapon. Wow. Okay, so next thing is to scale it. And you do not want to move or scale the object in object mode because that'll screw everything up. It'll screw it up bad. So you want to do it in edit mode. So I'm going to get rid of these normal thingies just by closing that out because that looks really irritating. Alright, so hit 3, 5, which turns it into orthographic. And I'm going to scale the weapon up or down so that it'll fit the hand decently. I don't want to do it too big or else that just looks ridiculous. I don't want to do it too small or else that just looks even more ridiculous, so I'm just going to leave it right about right about there. That looks good. Alright. So after you get the scale, just move it back maybe about right here. Alright, that's good. Get out of edit mode. Get out of there. Alright. And actually, I'm going to turn off edge split because edge split really likes a viewport when animating, and yeah, I just want to turn it off. It'll look ugly, but who cares? Alright, so the next step is rigging. So select the bones, the ones that are right here. Go into edit mode, hit tab for edit mode, and I'm gonna go into side view, and I'm gonna position my cursor right there and just hit Shift A to make a bone. Press R to rotate -90 degrees and move it somewhere around here. Some people put their pivots right in the middle of the grip, right there. I don't do that. I only do that for pistols, just because of personal preference. Anyway, I'm going to move it maybe right here. And since bone X-ray is not turned on for me, I'm going to go into wireframe, hit that, and hit Control-Alt-S, which scales it up. Alright, that's the main weapon bone. That's good. Just going to position that a little better. You go over here, well, select your weapon mode, you go over here, and you call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it weapon. That's good. Alright. Now we make a bone for all the parts that you want to move. I'm going to do the trigger, the mag, the bullets that are inside there somewhere, the charging handle, and the bolt. And we can easily do this just by right-clicking your bone and hitting Shift D, which duplicates. And I'm going to move this there. I'm going to do whatever, blah blah blah. Just going to get that shape because I want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, it's up to you. I'm going to call that charging underscore, I can't spell, handle, there. Alright, just do the same for the rest of the bones, excuse me, parts of the gun. Duplicate, move down. I could change the pivot for, well, I could move the bone so that the pivot is up here, right near the bullet, but no, I'm just going to do it right down here, just because. And name that mag. Up here. And blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about scaling that up, because you're not really going to see it. The last one should be the bolt. And, well, I'm going to put it near the side, because we want to see the bone so we can move it. You know you're probably not going to see much of this side anyway, still. Just make sure everything's named correctly. Oops. Alright. That should be it. I'm gonna save this just in case anything bad happens, which already did, actually. I recorded this and it didn't record the screen. Last time, I was pretty upset. Has nothing to do with the modeling part, but, you know, still. You gotta take extra precautions. Take two. Alright. Okay, so we've got all our bones in place. I could have done the fire selector, but I'm lazy. I could have done the bullet release, but I'm lazy. I could have done this, but I'm lazy. I could have done that. Okay, whatever. Alright. Let's see. I'm gonna fix that so that's not too big. Alright, so now let's see. I'll just start with weighting. So select your weapon mesh and go to modifiers, add a modifier, click armature, go down to object and select your bones and click reserve just in case. I don't know, sometimes you don't need to. And go to object data and you want to go to vertex groups. I've already got vertex groups for some reason, so I'm just going to delete all those by hitting the minus key right here. And I'm going to create a new one and name that weapon. And now just click tab and select everything. Don't worry, we'll get the rest later, but first select everything by just hitting A twice or A once, depending on if you have everything selected. Anyway, assign and make the mag. If you want to just select parts of the weapon really quick, you just hover over a surface and just hit L, which selects all the linked faces, verts, edges. I'm going to assign, and I'm going to do that for all the parts. Well, all the parts that have bones. The vertex groups need to be named the same as the bones so that it'll deform correctly. I don't know if I named that bullet or bullets. Did I name that bullet? Okay, I named that bullet. Alright, so that's correct. think that's all. So go back into object mode and select into go to your bones, go in pose mode, and your gun should be moving like that. But that's my fault actually. I forgot to remove all the moving parts of the first vertex group, which was the weapon. And to do this really quick, I'm just going to select the vertex group and hit select, which selects vertices of that group. I'm going to do that for all the parts, and then I'm going to select the weapon and click remove so that the weapon bone doesn't affect these vertices, which is what we want. So if we go back into pose mode, yeah, alright, that's working. Alright, now on parenting, it should be relatively easy. Go into edit mode, select your bones, go here, click parent, and go to weapon. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to do the mag yet. I'll show you why in a little bit. Anyway, just get these out of the way. Okay, that should be... yeah, well, that works. Alright. So we've got everything parented, all the gun parts, except for the mag. And the reason for that is I'm going to use a child of constraint. And if you used 3S Max before, a child of constraint is basically a link constraint. It's a little different, but it does the same thing basically. So you want to select your main weapon bone and hold shift right click the mag and press Control Shift C and go over here and click child of, and that'll happen. And you'll probably be wondering to yourself, hello? And that's okay, because all you need to do to fix that is just go to bone constraints over here and click select inverse, and there you go. And as you can see here, the influences the parenting, I guess, to the mag. So this is at 1. If you move that to 0, move the gun, it acts like that. Yeah. Of course, we'll have to animate that if we do a crazy animation or something. So just hit I on the keyboard, but you have to have your mouse hovered over the influence tab so that it turns yellow, and that means, okay, I'm going to be animated. If you scroll down here on the dope sheet, you'll see on the very bottom, influence mag child of. That's what you want. So, alright, that's moving correctly. Oops. Alright, so now we'll do the same thing for the hands. And I'm only going to link the hand to the mag because, well, there's no reason to link it to the gun, because the mag at the end is going to be linked to the gun, and the hand is going to be linked to the mag, so that just makes sense. Just link it one time. Select the mag, select that, Control Shift C, child of, set inverse. Hit I over this because maybe you want to do a mag throw, and as soon as you let go of the mag, it's like you don't want it to fall in the mag, obviously, so keep that in mind. And oh, another thing you're probably wondering is, well, what if I want to do a charging handle pull? I just keep it linked to the weapon, or in this case the mag, at all times, because it's not that big of a deal if you're just pulling it back and letting it go. It's, yeah, that's not really big of a deal. So anyway, select the weapon bone, select the IK controller, child of inverse, well, I, even though what I'm going to do, it's probably just going to be linked to the gun the whole time. And once you got all that done, it should look like this. And that's good. We want that. We want that. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. The links are working correctly. And it's following the mag. Mag's following the gun. It's good. Alright. Now, on the posing. Gotta make sure auto key's on. So, if this isn't highlighted, highlight it. Make sure it's on. Because if you move something on the next frame, it'll probably go back like in this pose. And also, you want to make sure that, well, just to be safe, make a reference origin. I'm just gonna go down here in the dope sheet, change this to action editor, because that's what you have to be in. I'm just gonna call this reference. And I'm gonna select everything by hitting A and hit Alt R, Alt G, and Alt S, which clears the rotation scale and location, just so you can have a reference. Okay, and now we want to create a new action, which is down here. Just click the plus and rename it to weapon origin. Make sure you click the F, because I believe if you don't click the F and you save, it doesn't save the action, and that's no good. That is no good. So make sure you click that F. Alright, so you're on weapon origin, and let's just pose the gun really quick. Going to maximize this viewport, and I don't want the weapon to be too close, like that. No, I can't. No, I can't do that. No, I don't want it to be too far, like that. I mean, does that look good to you? No. You kidding? No. No. I just want to be somewhere where it looks appealing. Once I get the hands in there, I'll know what it looks like better, so I can tweak it around like that. But that's a good position for now. Now, hold on a second. I think I made a new grease pencil later. Okay, forget that. Alright, so I think there looks pretty good. Yeah, alright. And I'm gonna do the right hand first. So move that shoulder up there, move the hand over here. I don't want the elbow pointing like that, so I'll move that pole somewhere down. Alright. Let's see here. And actually, as you may or may not know, Mr. Brightside has a good tutorial on setting up biped hands on a weapon, and even though that's 3ds Max, he still goes through the process of setting up the position for hands so that they'll look good and not like that. Oh, another thing I probably should have mentioned before is that I use auto IK on my fingers, so that I don't have to individually select any bones and have to, you know, do this whole process. Like, no. So, select your bones, hit T, and make sure auto IK is on right there. I could have been somewhere else, like here. Why haven't they fixed that? Anyway, and that allows your fingers, when you hit G, it allows your fingers to do this, which makes it somewhat faster and somewhat less accurate, because if you're rotating like this, like, okay, that's, yeah, that's not good. Anyway, because it moves according to your viewport orientation, so you gotta angle your viewport just right. This is this hand mesh is on broker use CSS Redux, by the way, if you haven't noticed already. Oh, whoops. I don't want that. I gotta go here. Click individual origins. There, that rotates better. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. And I guess if you don't like this mesh, I have an unturbo smooth rig in the second layer. If you want that too, it's up to you. That hand position is pretty awful, but it works for what I'm doing, even though it's yeah, it's pretty awful. That is really, oh man, that's really bad. Really. It's horrible. Okay, that looks, yeah, that's decent. I'm gonna rotate that forearm bone, because even though you're not gonna see it, that looks pretty bad. I'm just going to rotate like that. That should be good. And on to the next hand. Noah. I know I'll have to make a lot of changes to that weapon origin. Whoa, I'm upside down. Well, as you can see, my viewport camera is really weird, because it's on trackball. And of course, you can change that to turntable if that suits you, just by going to File, Preferences, File, User Preferences, Input, Turntable, if you want to change it, if you don't like trackball, which a lot of people probably don't like, but I do. I'll just shut up right now. Looks pretty good. Yeah, that's not right. There you go. Um, you're probably not gonna see this part in first-person view, but I can't. Yeah, I'd rather just not have it look like garbage, even though you're probably not gonna see it. Don't worry about clipping either, because just like Mr. Brightside said, the hand is not made out of solid rock or something like that. It's soft and fleshy. Alright, I know I'm gonna regret this later, but that does not look good. At least in my, yeah, doesn't look good to me. So I'm gonna reposition that so that it looks appealing to me. I'm gonna reposition that hand, and I kind of want it to just rotate around this foregrip right here. So I'm gonna place my cursor right in the middle, hit period, so that it rotates around the cursor point, and then that should be good. And I'm gonna rotate this forearm because that looks pretty ugly. Alright, whoa. 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 Okay. Alright, that's alright. Maybe I could have positioned this a bit better, but it's okay for now. Never mind, forget what I just did there. Alright. Except that looks really bad. Holy crap. Alright. Whatever. Little clipping, but, you know, whatever. Alright. Well, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, another general rule I like to keep is that I never like putting my iron sights above the horizon line, like right here. I always either line it up or do it below, because if it's above the horizon line, that just looks really funky, and I don't want that. No. Okay, I think this is good enough for now. I'll probably end up, whoa, where is my lights? Oh, right, select that later. Anyway, like I said, I'll probably end up changing a bit of the positioning between parts. I think it's decent. It doesn't look great, but it works for now, I suppose. Maybe I can select that. Yeah, that looks a bit more interesting. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, whatever. Yeah, alright, that'll do for now. Alright, well, thanks for watching this first part, I guess. I'll be sure to fix anything that I did wrong, like that. See that clipping? That's oh man, oh man, that's terrible. Anyway, yeah, okay. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for watching. Good. Bye.